Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of the Rolling Paper Review. Today, I'm your host, as always, Derek, and with me I have my friend Gary. Um, Today we're covering Gizeh. These are the original Gizeh, so these are thicker than most of the ones everybody, I'm sure, is used to. Um, but I just had a trip down to the head shop today and went shopping, made some purchases, and figured I'd try out a couple from my purchase today. So we're actually going to be shooting episode 8, 9, and 10 all together and reviewing some of our purchases from today at the head shop. Thanks, Dale. Tricks on May Street.
Shameless plug.
Okay, so these are a one size. They are quite thick. These are the same size as Zigzag, minus the cut corners.
Yeah, I was going to say, they look comparable to export for thickness
Yeah,
almost.
pretty much. An export or a Vogue.
Yeah.
Or no, they're not Vogue anymore, are they? What are they now? Shoot, I can't remember what they're called now. But no, oh, they're Embassy now. They're not Vogue anymore. That's what it is, Embassy. I guess Madonna killed Vogue. Alright. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed by now that I always give my fingers a little lick when I'm about to roll. And that's just to help me grip the paper nice and tightly. It's actually a pretty decent roll. So there's the end result. Not exactly a perfect roll.
How's it sticking?
It looks like it's lifting in a couple of spots.
Oh, we'll see once we burn whether it breaks up. Oh, yeah, it's lifting a bit.
Yeah, we got a little bit of lift here, so we got a problem with the gum. Now, just before we started recording, when we opened the book, I couldn't help but notice that Gizeh, whose logo is the pyramid with the Sphinx in front of it, is actually made in Austria by a German company. So how it ties into Egypt and North Africa, I don't know. But, just something noteworthy. The one thing that I do like about Gizeh is they have this little tab right here, which seals against here with a little dab of glue. So when you buy your book of rolling papers, you know you're getting an unopened book when that thing's stuck together. Alright. Let's taper the end here.
Good feel.
And no. Oh, look. Look. It's already coming apart.
Yeah.
It's already coming apart down there, so we're going to try and fix this here real quick. Alright, well, let's try this again.
Hopefully
Again,
it stays together.
We're going to go with the electric arc lighter. Taste the weed, not the heat. With the electric arc welder, you don't get a taste of fuel at all. So, all you're tasting is what's burning.
Don't think it's called a welder, though.
No, but it's called an arc lighter. How's our ash density looking?
It isn't flaking, as I say that.
Yeah, it is. Let's have a look here. Well, we got a couple of flyaways. Lifts. It's holding together okay, but the burnt paper around the weed does flake and fly away a little bit. See, I'm catching ash. One there, right there, right there.
Yeah.
So the ash density score not so great. The gum score not so great. How's that sticking together?
It's still stuck. It's still stuck.
Okay. A little bit harsh.
Yeah, that's the paper though.
But again, this is the thickest paper for the Gizeh brand line. Their original is 21 gram. Fine is 17.5 with cut corners. There's also fine, which is 17.5 without cut corners. And there is super fine, which is 12.0. So you don't get a really stinky aroma to it, which is nice. So the burning aroma is fine. You know, it's not something that smells awesome, but it doesn't stink either. So it's kind of odor neutral, I guess you could say. And with these, I'd also like to point out that you get 50 leaves per book. All right, let's grade this puppy. There you go. All right. Gizeh Blue Original. For appearance of the book. For Gizeh's appearance, I actually give them a fair score. I think their appearance is about an 8. Okay? They take the time to do a little bit of colored printing to show the colors of the books for the grade and thickness of paper here. So the color that it's printed in is the color of the book. So, you know, you can go to the head shop and just say, oh, I want the bright green one. Not the dark green one, the bright green one. You know, so I really do give them credit. Their book is attractive. It is appealing. It's clean. It's not overkill. I really enjoy it. So,
and the blue is dark, but it's not super dark.
Right. So for overall appearance, I'm going to give it an 8. Now the scent. The scent is really kind of neutral.
Right, kind of like the scent that it gives off when you're burning it. Kind of neutral.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
For roll itself, you know what? I rolled a decent joint, but I didn't roll my typically perfectly straight joint. I found it a little tricky because of the thickness of the paper, to be honest. So for roll, I'm only going to give it a 7. Gum's going to fall short. I'm sorry to say this. You know, by now, 420 Nation, you've seen us do these videos a couple times now. You know that with a lot of the papers we review, one lick and she sticks. That's the way all papers should be. That's how you get a perfect score of 10. Now, if one lick she sticks, but I got to play with it a little bit to make it stick, then you're dropping down a little bit to an 8. But if even after that further effort is required, well, then we go downhill pretty far from there.
Pretty quick.
So I'm sorry to say that for the gum on these ones, I'm only going to give it about a 3.5.
Yeah.
It'll hold to get it the job done, but not very well.
So gotta play with it.
That's right. So for gum, 3.5. Now I do have some other Gizeh papers that we will be testing later on to find out how it scores, and I'm really interested to see how the gum's going to be on that particular paper. So, to be coming in a future episode. Number 5 for burn. The burn itself was fairly smooth, fairly even. You know, like it didn't run at all.
No, it burned pretty good.
Yeah, it burned. Again, but the gum created an issue even with the burn. You know, so we will say an 8.
Yeah.
Burning Aroma, very neutral.
Yeah.
Very neutral. So, on a neutral burning aroma, I'm going to go 7.5. Ash density, well, we fell a little bit short on there. It did hold it together, but it did flake off some ash. So, for that, I think I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah.
Smooth. The joint was fairly smooth, but not overly smooth. You did get that paper.
Bit of harshness.
Yeah, so for smooth, we're going to give it about a 7.
7, yeah.
Quantity versus cost. For this, I'm actually going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm going to score it a 9 out of 10 is because you're paying about the same price as you are for like a book of Juicy J's. It's the three. I think it's $3 a book. Don't quote me on that. It could be wrong. It's $2 or $3. But for the Juicy J's, you get 32 papers for the price, whereas with the Gizeh, you get 50 papers for the price. And this is important. We work hard for our money. So for the quantity versus cost, it definitely earns a 9 out of 10, only really being beaten by the 100 book, you know.
The regular 100.
And as far as Roach goes, I'm going to give it a low score. I'm only going to give it a 3 because unless I'm desperate, that paper's out.
Out. Yeah. Actually, even in desperation.
Well,
out.
you know, sometimes you need the paper in just for fill. In that situation, I'll leave it in, but only in that situation.
Yeah, that would make it really
Alright,
harsh.
so I'm just going to add up our score here. Dun, 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 dun.
We started on that.
Our
so.
total score is 64 out of 100. Not a very high score.
Not a very high score.
So, again, if you're like me and you're an avid collector, which I'd like to point out, this is just my smoke box. Okay, this is layers deep. This is just what I'm currently smoking from. But
Shameless plug.
But I'm an avid collector. I like to have a wide variety. So for me, it's a must-have for my collection. Now, am I going to smoke out of it on a regular basis? No. I'm sorry. So, for the connoisseur, go out and buy yourself a book. For the non-connoisseur, for just the guy that's looking for a bunch of papers, look, if you're just looking for some papers, my personal opinion, you're better off with a pack of zigzags. Just my personal opinion. But like I said, guys like me that like to have a wide selection and a big collection, absolutely. Alright, that concludes episode 8. Thanks a lot. Just to let you know, we got some big things coming up in the future. Hopefully around episode 15, 20 or so, we're going to start to have some different guests coming in. We're going to start getting into some of the politics and legalities of marijuana law in Ontario. So a lot of big things brewing up. And I'm working on planning something pretty special for a 420 special episode. Thinking maybe even somewhere along the lines of live streaming and some free giveaways, even if it means taking them out of my own personal collection.
But we want to hear from you guys.
That's right. We need subscribers.
And not just subscribers. We need comments. We want to hear from you guys.
That's exactly. Everybody, like, you know, like, I know you guys probably aren't really all that, you know, active in YouTube, just checking out some videos and all that stuff. But check this out. The more you communicate with us down here, the more we can give you what you, 420 Nation, want to see. And that's important to us.
Because if you don't tell us, we don't know.
That's right. And we would love for you to say, hey, you know, my local head shop just got these papers in. Do you have them? Can you review them before I go spend my money? I'd love that.
Yep.
I would love to help you out with that.
And I would love to sit in for that.
That's because, let's face it, for us, we don't need any real excuses to sit around and smoke a bunch of joints.
No.
We do it for you. All right, guys. Have a good one. See you on episode 9.
Good night, folks.